Hi book friends, this is Kat and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is my 20 books to read in the year 2026. I try to do this every year, but essentially these are books that I want to get through in the year of 2026. I don't move up my numbers at all. 20 books would work just well for me since I like to read like mood read sometimes, or I'm finding myself wanting to mood read a lot more, but there are 20 books that I have decided that I want to make sure I prioritize, and it also goes with my game, which you will see coming out pretty soon. Let's go ahead and look at this list. And so how I divided this list up, I decided that I was going to do 4 different categories and pick 5 books for each category, so I don't lean heavy on a lot of like new books. So the categories are authors that I love, big books or intimidating books, new to me authors, and nonfiction. So I'm gonna go through the first 5, which are the authors that I love. So this was really hard, but I'm gonna go ahead and start with the first one, and that is Christy Cambrin. And so the book I chose for her is The British Booksellers, and this is inspired by a true story. It spans between World War I and World War II, and you follow 3 perspectives. You follow Amos, who's like this farmer who's in love with this Earl's daughter, and her name is Charlotte, I believe. And then you follow Charlotte's perspective and how like she had a loveless marriage, I think, and her daughter's perspective, which is Eden. And so that's all I know from it. I usually just like to be surprised when I go into the books, but World War I into World War II, historical fiction, sounds up my alley. That's also Christian fiction. The second book, I would have to put Tessa Afshar, and this is also Christian fiction. And this book is called The Royal Artisan. It is book 2 in the Queen Esther's Court series. This one you follow, I think it's pronounced Susanna, and she does pottery, but she's also the servant to Haman. And so that will be a really interesting retelling, and I'm excited to dive into that book. The third book I have is a Mary Meckham book, and she has become a favorite author of mine. And so this is a Christian fiction, and this book is part of her Neverland series. I have both books on here because I was supposed to read Betraying Korth is the third book, but the one that I'm putting on my 20 and 2026 is Escaping Pirates. So the idea is the idea is to get through these 2 books in the next year, but this one's officially on it. So this one, Escaping Pirates, is a Cinderella retelling. So that is exciting, and the third book is a Villainous Goose Girl retelling. Okay, the fourth book I have, this spot goes to Gabriel Meyer. Through Each Tomorrow is going to go on this list. It's the Time Crossing series. This will follows a brother and a sister, and that's all I need to know about it. I love to go into these blind. I don't want to know anything else about it, so I've been dodging like reviews on these books, but yeah, I'm excited for this one. The last one I have, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a Sarah Sundin book. So this one is Until Leaves Fall in Paris, and you follow an American ballerina. She buys this Jewish book shop, and this is in the midst of World War II, and that way the Jewish family can escape from the Nazi invasion, and the Germans are making it difficult for her to keep this shop. And the second perspective, you follow Paul, who's in the US Army. He's a widower. and he wants to go back to the States, but the army is convincing him to stay, to be in the army and to, I guess, do like some resistance works or something like that in Paris. So that's my understanding, and this is also a Christian fiction book. So that was the authors that I love category. The next category we're going to look at is the big book or the intimidating book category. There are some books that have been on my TBR for the longest time, and like the category suggests, I just don't want to pick them up, but I'm gonna make sure that I do this time around. So the first one I'm gonna talk about is His Majesty's Dragon by Naomi Novik. I've never read anything by this author, but this has been on my TBR since I made a Goodreads account. It's a secular book, so I don't know, like, again, how clean it's going to be or anything, but I'm going to try it out. Essentially, this is the first book in a series, and it's about the Napoleonic Wars, and there's dragon riding. So that's all I know, and so it sounds interesting. I think when I put this book on here, I was trying to get more into like the fantasy genre, so we'll see. All right, the next book I have here is a Christian fiction book, and this one is called The Masterpiece by Francine Rivers. So this one says that this one says a successful Los Angeles artist, Roman Velasco, appears to have everything he could possibly want: money, women, fame. Only Grace Moore, his reluctant, newly hired personal assistant, knows how little he truly has. The demons of Roman's past seem to echo through the halls of his empty mansion and out across his breathtaking Topanga Canyon view. But Grace doesn't know her boss secretly wrestles with those demons by tagging buildings as The Bird, a notorious but unidentified graffiti artist, an alter ego that could destroy his career and land him in prison. Like Roman, Grace is wrestling with ghosts and secrets of her own. After a disastrous marriage threw her life completely off course, she vowed never to let love steal her dreams again. But as she gets to know the enigmatic man behind the reputation, it's as if the jagged pieces of both of their past slowly begin to fit together until something so unexpected happens that it changes the course of their relationship and both their lives forever. So, huge book. But yeah, I'm interested about it. Okay, the next intimidating book is also Christian fiction, and this is my first book from this author, but I've heard good things about another book that he wrote. But this one goes to Frank Peretti, and I got this book at a book sale at my library, and that is The Oath. So that's also a very chunky book. I think it's also classified, I don't think horror, but like, what's it, like thrillery, but I think more intense. But this one says, in the mountains of the Pacific Ocean, evil has taken hold of the isolated old mining town of Hyde River, leaving a bloody and chilling path in its wake. In the night, a predator far more dangerous than any known before has begun claiming bodies and souls for its own. The latest victim, nature photographer Cliff Benson, was brutally killed while camping in the mountains. With little hard evidence to go on, Sheriff Les Collins closes the case, chalking it up to the work of a rogue bear, just like so many other unsolvable deaths and disappearances that have plagued Hyde River over the years. But wildlife biologist Steve Benson refuses to let his brother's death remain a mystery. He is joined in his investigation by auburn-haired Sheriff's Deputy Tracy Ellis, who, having grown up in Hyde River, suspects the most powerful man in town of conspiring to cover up evidence in the killing. So I'm just going to stop there. But yeah, I don't know. After reading that, I am a little nervous, but I have read like Ted Dekker books growing up. I don't really read them now because some of them were just kind of weird to me. But I don't know. I'm going to give Frank Peretti a try. Probably should have started with In This Present Darkness. But let me know if you read this one or if I should start with the other one. But Anyways, I own this, and as of now, that's going on the list. Okay, the next one I have is right here, and this is a new to me author as well, and this is called Bridge of Scarlet Leaves by Christina McMorris. And this one, I mean, it's pretty chunky, but let's see. This one says Los Angeles, 1941. Violinist Maddie Kern's life seemed destined to unfold with the predictable elegance of a Bach concerto. Then she fell in love with Lane Moritomo, her brother's best friend. Lane is the handsome, ambitious son of Japanese immigrants. Maddie was prepared for disapproval from their families, but when Pearl Harbor is bombed the day after she and Lane elope, the full force of their decision becomes apparent. In the eyes of a fearful nation, Lane is no longer just an outsider, but an enemy. So I'm going to stop there, but apparently they were sent and relocated to a relocation camp in the United States. So, all right, the last one in my intimidating books. This one goes to another author, kind of similar to like the thrillery genre. This goes to Jamie Jo Wright, and it is Christian fiction, but this goes to her debut book, The House on Foster Hill, and this one talks about a woman named Kane. Her husband died and she's very suspicious about it, but she ends up purchasing an old house in Wisconsin, and this house has a past to it. The second timeline, you're following Ivy Thorpe, and she finds a dead body on the property, and so there's a mystery that ensues from there. So that's all I know about it. And hopefully this is a book that I will enjoy. All right, now we are going into the new to me authors, and I picked a different author for each one. So the first one will go to Lynette Easton, and this one is a Christian fiction book called Life Flight. It is the first of the Extreme Measures series. And essentially, this is an EMS helicopter pilot, Penny Carlton, and she is forced to land on this mountain because of a storm, and she has this critically injured patient, and there's a serial killer on the loose. So that's all I know about it. All right, the next one is also a Christian fiction, and this one is Katie Ganshert, and the book is called A Broken Kind of Beautiful. You follow Ivy Clarkson, I think that's what I wrote, and she's 24 years old. She's a fashion model, and she knows appearance is everything, but she has this broken past. She goes back home, and she's gonna pose for this bridal line, but apparently she feels like a fake. And I guess it's like her and the photographer form a relationship maybe, and the photographer knows there's something more to her than meets the eye. So yeah, the next book is also a Christian fiction, and this one's called Junebug by Chris Fabry, and I forgot what else he wrote, but he's new to me. And so this one basically has this little girl, goes into, she lives in this RV with her dad, and, you know, kind of travel. She goes to a Walmart, I guess, in the city that they're in, that I guess they just went into. And she goes into the Walmart, sees her face on this poster for children who were abducted. And she's wondering what in the world is going on. So that one sounds interesting. So yeah, hopefully it's good. The next one is a secular book, and this is called The Wedding Dress Circle, and this is by Jennifer Ryan. And essentially this one is World War II and women coming together to sew wedding dresses for the women at home whose men are off fighting. And I guess it's just, you're following three perspectives, an aunt, a niece, and I think a niece's friend. Can't remember who the third person was, but they are meeting together, and I guess they're doing life together during this time. So the last one I have is a Christian fiction, and this one was recommended by Tay at Tales and Treats with Tay. She loves Jocelyn Green, so I'm going to give The Mark of the King a try. This one could have easily gone into the intimidating stack, but I decided to put her here. Essentially, this is a midwife, named Julianne, and she is imprisoned and branded because I guess something didn't go right during one of her appointments with another person that basically caused her to get imprisoned and branded, and so she gets exiled to the French colony, Louisiana, and she is forced to marry, and that's all I know about it. I heard it was pretty intense, so hopefully I get this, or I pick this up in a month where I am ready to read it. So, all right, my last 5 are nonfiction. So the first one I have is a Christian nonfiction, and that is The Common Rule, Habits of Purpose for an Age of Distraction by Justin Whitmel Early. And so I really liked his Habits of the Household. I've read another book from him, and so this one's the next one, and I really like the color combo, so that one's on the list. The next one is also a Christian nonfiction book, and this one is Holy Habits by Andrew Roberts, and this one is basically a call to discipleship, and you see habits in Acts 2. I guess that's what they're exploring, or he explores in his book. And so the 10 habits that are being explored are biblical teaching, fellowship, breaking of bread, prayer, giving, service, eating together, gladness and generosity, worship, and the making of more disciples. So, sounds interesting. Yeah. Okay, the next one is also a Christian book, and this one is Imagine Meeting Him by Robert Rasmussen. This is soul-stirring encounters with the Son of God. I'm not too big on the cover. I find it's kind of not my style, but this has been on my TBR for the longest. This one basically says, do you feel close to Jesus? Are you familiar with his teachings? Perhaps you have devoted your life to follow him, but do you see him as a figure to admire from a distance, or is he near and dear to you as a brother or a friend? Within these pages, you'll find tender stories of men and women who walked with Jesus, stories that will lift you up, carry you to the Master's side, and allow you to meet him face to face. So, discover the joy of a deeper friendship with Jesus. The next one is also a Christian nonfiction, and this one is a new to me book, and I'm really excited about it. This is called Toxic Empathy, How Progressives Exploit Christian Compassion by Allie Beth Stuckey. So I have read her little pink one book. Actually, you can see it right here. You're Not Enough and That's Okay. And I really enjoyed it. And I heard a little bit of her podcast, I think like a year ago. I don't really listen as much to podcasts anymore. And so I know that she's very outspoken. But I'm very interested in what she may have to say. So this one is definitely a book that I am looking forward to reading. My last one is technically a memoir, but I've been very interested in this book, and that is Alex Trebek's memoir, The Answer Is Reflections on My Life. So I really like Jeopardy, and I really want to read about the man who was the host of Jeopardy for the longest time. And yeah, so. Okay, I kind of sped up towards the end there, but I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I'm excited about this selection that I have. If you've read any of these books, please let me know down below, or if you want to know any more about these books, also let me know down below, and I can try to go more in depth on some of them. But I'm not sure when this video is going to go up, but I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in another video. Bye guys.